Innovation is extremely costly, and it's very important to reduce those costs in order to facilitate change and to facilitate the adoption of new technologies. Industry innovation is probably the most efficient way of leading change. Government support is very important through subsidies and through tax incentives and other measures that reduce cost. But industry collaboration, I think, has the best chance of helping us move forward as quickly as possible. What industry collaboration does is put all companies on a level playing field. So they're not concerned about a competitive advantage or a competitive disadvantage, but they're collaborating and working together. And it allows the development of a common platform or a common infrastructure. And when you develop technologies based upon a common platform, a lot of great things happen. First, it's much easier to widely distribute that technology. It becomes the norm, and it becomes more cost-effective for people to adopt that technology. Innovation is costly, so there is also a shared risk exposure that companies can develop these technologies without being concerned about taking on the entire cost themselves. And we know in the oil and gas industry, for example, that a lot of innovation has occurred through joint ventures and through partnering. And this is taking it to the next level, taking it to an industry collaboration, not just a partner collaboration. There are a number of regulations that require public companies to disclose a fair amount of information about the environment and what they're doing about the environment and what they're doing in particular about greenhouse gas emissions. But I think that what we're seeing is a significant trend towards voluntary disclosure. And that is on a national and international scale, and it's not just with the energy industry, it's with a number of different industries. I think that in the last 5 years, we're seeing a significant number of large energy companies, publicly trading companies, adopting, for example, the requirements for disclosure under the Carbon Disclosure Project. Companies are taking a number of voluntary disclosure steps to inform investors about their GHG emissions annually and their reduction in GHG emissions over time, as well as the mitigation strategies that they're taking to reduce their GHG emissions. Companies need to respond to their investors, and a number of investors today, particularly institutional investors, are the ones that are driving change and ensuring that companies take on a corporate social responsibility aspect to the decisions that they make. Institutional investors, for example, were key in raising the level and standard of corporate governance. If you want an institutional investor to invest in your company, you had to establish that you had good governance in place. And they have required codes of conduct and different measures, and they want to have information about how you're meeting those measures. So what we're starting to see now is institutional investors taking a leading role on what companies are doing with respect to the energy transition. And they are withholding funds to the extent that they don't believe a company is taking those measures, and putting money towards companies that are effectively taking on the challenges of moving us towards a reduced carbon world. And so institutional investors, of course, are interested in making money, and they want to make a profit. And so that is going to lead to innovation, to adopting new technologies in order to reduce costs to satisfy the requirements of institutional investors, both from the perspective of my corporate responsibility, my responsibility to the environment, and my responsibility to make profits for investors.